New comic book day is around the corner, and it's a stacked one. Let's take a look at the books on my pull list. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is the pull list. It's my weekly video series where I take a look at all the books coming out. I'm going to tell you what's on my pull list, what's on the chopping block, and we'll even talk about some new #1 issues that are on the radar for this week of new comics. This will be Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. And I gotta say, I said it already, but it's a stacked week. It is huge. There are so many comics coming out. And spoiler alert, I am over budget. Every week, I try to stick to a budget of $50. If I don't make any cuts this week, I'm going to be spending $68 on books. And so this will be a fun game for you to try to guess which books are about to hit the chopping block so that I can get back under budget for the week of September 25th when I walk into Fight or Flight Comics this week for the last time at the current location. I've been shopping at this place for 5 years, and this week is the last week of new comics at the current Fight or Flight Comics location. Starting next week, they will be in their brand new location inside of Triangle Town Center Mall, just to the left of the food court. If you know where that is, it's the spot that used to be the Baby Gap. It's going to be really fun. We're going to have a grand opening celebration coming soon, and I got some special behind the scene footage of us putting the shop together. So it's going to be really cool. But man, a bittersweet week of new comics. Anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it, starting with the book that I am most excited for. And this week, that is Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue #1. So if you made it out to the shop this weekend for Batman Day, you might have seen the prologue issue, Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue 0. Well, that book was the final collaboration between Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale, but it didn't start as just being that one book. It was supposed to be a new Long Halloween sort of successor or sequel. And unfortunately, Tim Sale passed before they could get it done. And so, in tribute to Tim Sale, Jeph Loeb kind of revived the project, and each issue of this book is going to be done by a different artist. It's written by Jeph Loeb. It's a nice, brand new mystery for Batman and Robin to solve, but which is cool because Robin wasn't in the original Long Halloween. But anyway, this will be a brand new mystery. Each issue will be drawn by a different artist, and I'm very curious to see like what each artist brings to the work, like what kind of style they bring. Are they going to sort of try to approximate Tim Sale in some sort of way? What kind of homages and Easter eggs are we going to see? And each artist that was chosen because they were one of Tim Sale's favorite artists. So my assumption is that they're going to be doing like what they've always done the best and not trying to do a Tim Sale impression. This one's got art by Eduardo Risso, who you might know from the graphic. Well, he's done a bunch of Batman stuff in the past, but he did the Paul Dini Dark Knight, a True Detective story, I think is what it was called. Basically about a sort of memoir about a night that he was mugged and how he overcame that. But anyway, Eduardo Risso is a great, phenomenal Batman artist. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he did art on Batman when man's name, Brian Azzarello, was writing it. So anyway, the point is, you know Eduardo Risso, you know what kind of art he does, and you know it's going to be really good. So that one's got a cover price of $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Although the Jim Lee variant looks really cool. I love that red moon behind Batman. But I'm just like, you can't buy a Tim Sale tribute book and not buy the Tim Sale cover, right? Anyway, that's going to kick off my DC Comics pull list for the week. Let's keep it going with a couple of series finales, or at least story arc finales. First up is Action Comics issue 1069. This is the Gail Simone and Danny Mickey's the inker. Who is on art? Eddie Barrows is on art for this issue. And it's been really cool. I've only read the first issue, so 1067. I haven't read 1068 yet, and this is the final in the 3-part storyline. That seems to be like a sort of throwback Superman tale, Superman versus some aliens, which is really cool. But we're about to head into the all-in era, and so the next up in the Superman Superstars lineup is Mark Waid doing a weekly event starting next month. So that'll be interesting. But I'm curious to see how this wrapped up because I really enjoyed issue 1. Cover price on that one is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the last book on the DC Comics pull list for me this week, we had Action Comics, and now we have Detective Comics. I love when they come out the same week. That's just fun. But Detective Comics issue 1089 is out this week. This is the final issue of the operatic saga, Gotham Nocturne, that Ram V has been spinning out for, what, close to 3 years now? So anyway, I've been enjoying it, or I had been enjoying it, but I always read it in binges. I always read like chunks at a time. So I'm like 5 issues behind. But I think this is going to be great in trades. I think it's going to be even better as an omnibus. Like it's really like gothic. It's really mysterious. It's got like supernatural elements. This is the one book where I actually read the backup stories because the backup stories weave in and out of the main story. So really well done. It's just not a book to read like one little sliver at a time, in my opinion. Cover price on issue 1089, The End of an Era, is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And that's it. Those are the 3 DC comics on the pull list. As long as I stick to the list, those will cost me $15 as we jump over to the House of Ideas. Let's see what's going on at Marvel Comics. Shout out to this shirt from Kohl's. I think I got this shirt from Kohl's. But anyway, where we have our first chopping block contender, Predator versus Black Panther, issue number 2. This is written by Benjamin Percy with art by Matt Allen and Chris Chater. I think I'm saying those names right. Is it Chris Allen? It's Chris Allen and Matt Chater. Basically, the art team on the last Black Panther volume by Evel Ewing has returned for this Predator Black Panther storyline. And it's cool. It's good enough. Covers by Ken Lashley, which is always a reason for me to buy a book. I enjoyed it. I'm not a big Predator fan. That is to say, I'm not a Predator fan at all. I've never seen a Predator film. They explained well enough why this Predator ended up in Wakanda and kind of what they're setting up. The Predator wants access to T'Challa's vibranium suit to sort of prove himself to his people. And of course, T'Challa's not going to stand for that. And it's good. The art was good. The story was fine. It's just, there are way too many books on my pull list for me to be buying a Predator book, knowing I don't care about Predator like that, and knowing that I can just wait for a trade paperback or wait a little bit longer and just read this in the Marvel Unlimited app. So this book at $4.99 is going to be on the chopping block this week. But let's talk about a book that I am buying. This is nope, not the Uncanny. This is the Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 9. Ultimate Spider-Man, written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Marco Cicchetto. This has been a great book so far. I love the sort of slow walking, this new status quo for New York City. And we've got the different competing newspapers. We're learning just how the mob is involved. Is it the mob? Is Kingpin the head of the mob? I guess we're calling him a mob boss, but we're learning how Kingpin has been pulling strings and sort of controlling the narrative up until this point, and now he's bringing in more superpowered people. So we're getting a sort of debut of this ultimate Sinister Six, and I'm very excited to see who all is a part of that group. So debut of the Sinister Six in this week's issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 9, out this week. Cover price is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the next book on the pull list, Marvel in this double shipping. We're going to get 18 issues of this year, but Uncanny XMen, issue number 3. Uncanny XMen, written by Gail Simone, art by David Marquez, is my favorite, at least through 1.5 issues, because I haven't even finished issue 2 yet, but through 1.5 issues of all of these X-Men from the Ashes titles, I've been enjoying Uncanny the best. But yeah, Tom Brevoort's like between X-Men proper or adjectiveless X-Men and Uncanny X-Men, we're going to get 18 issues of each of those every 12 months. And so if you feel like issue 2 just came out 2 weeks ago, it's because issue 2 just came out 2 weeks ago, and I'm still behind on reading. So cover price on issue 3 is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Next up is Wolverine Revenge, issue number 2. Wolverine Revenge, written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Greg Capullo. It's a sort of out of continuity story. It doesn't affect mainline Marvel, but all we need to know is that like an EMP went off. Some evil mutants are trying to like take advantage of that situation and really kind of pulled a fast one on Wolverine at issue number 1. And now it's time for him to take his revenge. He's kicking butt and taking names. You can kind of see by the cover who all is involved, who's on Wolverine's hit list. And it's just a brutal, fast-paced, bloody, and action-oriented book, which is great for me. Now, I did a whole video about whether or not it made sense to buy the red band version of this book for the extra $1. And in that video, I said, yeah, if you like Greg Capullo art, spend the extra $1 because you're not going to get it every panel otherwise. And I still feel that way. But in a stacked week, I'm like, dang, maybe I should save the $1. But for now, I'm going to go with the red band variant. Cover price on this is $5.99. I'm grabbing cover A in the poly bag. And last book on my Marvel Comics pull list this week is X-Force, issue number 3. X-Force, I actually did read issues 1 and 2 of. Written by Jeffrey Thorne, art by Marcus Toe. It's been dope. I've enjoyed it. It's sort of I wouldn't call it a throwback, but I love the sort of one and done nature of the storytelling. This has that in common with like Ryan North's Fantastic Four. So the basic idea is that Forge has kind of upped his powers and created a device that allows him to see like where in the world he's needed to sort of prevent cracks and disturbances in world-ending events. And so in the last issue, they went to Wakanda, I thought, to fight the Black Panther. Well, all of us thought to fight the Black Panther, especially since the Black Panther was on the cover. A little bit of a bait and switch, but I wasn't mad at it because the way it was done in the story was well executed. But Jeph, you put T'Challa on the cover again, I'm gonna have some thoughts. Anyway, point is I enjoyed issue 2. Issue 3, I'm not as familiar with the villain Clicker. That's not his name. I'm spending too much time. I think it's like Kulak or something like that. The point is X-Force is going to fight Kulak. Where, when, I don't know. But it should be fun. What I love about this book is it's always action-packed. It's always exciting. And that's what I want in a superhero comic book. So cover price on this one is $3.99. The only reasonably priced book on this list. I'm grabbing cover A. And that's it. So those are it for the Marvel books on the pull list. If I stick to the list, and like I said, don't buy Predator versus Black Panther, those will cost me $20 this week. As we skip on over to the indies, where, yeah, I still got 2 more cuts to make. So let's start out with Dick Tracy, issue number 5 from Mad Cave Studios. This is written by Alex Segura and Michael Marisi, with art by Geraldo Borges, and I've been enjoying it. It's been like a straight up like action-packed mobster criminal underworld mystery with a little bit of politics in there. Not politics, but just sort of corrupt government officials in the mix. It's been a cool mystery, although I think it's starting to kind of tell itself like I think I know, or we know, like who the twist is going to be, like who it is that's betraying Dick Tracy at this point. But I'm not complaining because I've been enjoying it. This is the final issue of the first story arc though. So if you did miss out on issues 1 through 4, there will be a trade paperback out soon, and maybe plan to start back up with issue 6 coming out next month. But for now, cover price on Dick Tracy number 5 is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And next up on the pull list is Feral, issue number 6, Feral, published by Image Comics. This is written by Tony Fleeks with art by Trish Forstner and Tone Rodriguez. Yes, Tone Rodriguez is his name. But Feral, basically, it's like The Walking Dead with cats. Like, it's a rabies outbreak. What I love about Feral is there are so many different threats. Like, there's the idea that it's rabies, or it's like zombies, and so anyone can potentially be a zombie, can potentially infect you, and the fact that cats are like naturally curious gets them in trouble in that way. So, number one threat, other cats, dogs, animals. Cool. Another threat, they are far from home. Well, they actually came home, and home is different than what they thought it was going to be. That's cool, right? Another threat is the fact that because there's a rabies outbreak, the advice from the government is, or animal control, is basically like kill any animal on sight. And so there's this added danger of when you come across a human, they are not going to be friendly as humans typically are to domesticated pets. And so all of that plus the standard like interpersonal drama that you would get in a zombie story. Like, zombie stories are often not about the external threat. They're about like how we relate with one another as humans. Do we band together? Do we turn against each other? Does it bring us closer? Like, all these different things. And so far, man, this series has been masterful. Issue number 6, by the way, is the start of a brand new story arc. So you can go back, pick up trade paperback volume 1, which is already out on shelves, and then start your journey with issue 6 out this week. Cover price is $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And we've made it to another chopping block contender from Dynamite Entertainment this week. Sheesh. I'm hungry. And I just realized the mic is right near my belly, so my bad if that picked up. But from Dynamite Entertainment is Hercules, issue number 5, written by Elliot Kalin, art by George Cambadeas. And listen, I've been buying this series. I have all 4 issues, but I have not read. I think I read issue 1, and I've not read past that. Not because it's not good, not because I didn't like it, but I'm just busy. And in this season, I'm not going to get any less busy. In fact, clearly we know what I'm doing after this video. But in fact, I am preparing for New York Comic Con, so I've got even less time to read in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And so I probably should just trim the fat, considering I'm over budget anyway. Hercules issue 5 is on the chopping block this week. And by not buying it, I'm going to save $4.99. That was cover A you just saw. Next up, also from Dynamite Entertainment, is Lilo and Stitch, issue number 5. Lilo and Stitch, written by Greg Pak. Art. Is art still by Mariana Puglia? That's the artist on Cruella de Vil. Paulina Ganuccio? Listen, my belly is a guest star at this point. My growling stomach is a guest star. I don't remember who's on art for Lilo and Stitch. What I will say is I thoroughly enjoyed it. I got an overview of volume 1 coming soon because the trade paperback is out now. Trade and hardcover. So I'm going to stick with it, and it's mostly because I like Greg Pak as a person. But this is kind of falling in the same territory as Hercules, and I probably need to start reading it sooner than later. I've read up to issue 3, so I need to read issue 4 to get caught up. Cover price on this is $4.99, and issue 5 is the start of a brand new story arc. I'm grabbing cover A. And we've made it to the 3rd book on the chopping block. From Image Comics, in the not in the Massiveverse, but written by Kyle Higgins and Kid Cudi. This is Moonman, issue number 4. Moonman had been plagued by delays and all that. I don't remember anything past issue 2, which means, well, I'm only missing 1 issue. But the delays on this series kind of hurt it for me. Like, in my head, I'm just like, I can't trust this book to come out on time. Do I need to be invested? Now, they do have a panel coming up at New York Comic Con, so maybe there will be renewed excitement for this book come October. But for now, I'm gonna check out. I'll wait for the trade paperback. Cover price on this is $3.99, so I'm gonna save $4 by not buying Moonman this week. And the last book on my pull list this week honestly could be a chopping block contender as well. This is Thundercats issue number 8 from Dynamite. Declan Shalvey and Drew Moss on this book. And yeah, this made an appearance on this show a week ago and ended up getting pushed back. So I talked about last week how I hadn't read issue 7, and I still haven't read issue 7. And I don't think I read issue 6 for that matter. But yeah, Thundercats. I should probably drop this one as well. If I did, I'd save $4.99. But I really like the cover C by Declan Shalvey. And so I think I'm going to buy that cover. But if I don't read this book in the next 3 weeks, it's probably going to be chopping block next time around. Anyway, $4.99. I'm grabbing the cover C. And that's it. Those are all the indies on the pull list. If I stick to the list, those are going to cost me $19, which does mean I brought my grand total down from 68 to 54. That's before taxes and my 10% subscriber discount, which means we're going to get it down. We're going to be below budget when it's all said and done. But yeah, I probably got more cuts to make because starting next month when DC does the all-in special, and then November when the all-in and absolute universes start, I absolutely, no pun intended, am going to have to make cuts because I'm adding so many titles from DC starting in November. So it'll be fun to see how the pull list changes. But all that to say, there is still, I told you, it's a stacked week. I'm looking at 7 books on the radar, 7 new number ones to cover. So we're going to go through these super rapid fire. Masters of the Universe is crossing over with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're calling it the Turtles of Grayskull. I think it's coming from Dark Horse, or is it IDW? Maybe it's both. But the point is, there's a crossover happening, and I wasn't even going to fool with this, but Tim Seeley's writing it, and I like Tim Seeley writing. But what I really like is the fact that Freddie Williams III is going to be drawing it. And at this point, Freddie Williams III, he might as well be a Ninja Turtle. He's just so closely associated with the title. Anyway, I always love his art. So that's why I'd be looking out for it. $3.99 on that. Next up, Old Dog Operations, issue number 1. This is Declan Shalvey's creator-owned series that he writes and draws. But this is an anthology, a special anthology with a whole bunch of creators telling different stories. One name that piqued my interest was Gavin Guidry, because I really love his art and he's a dope person. But this is an anthology issue. It's 64 pages, but it's $7.99. And I'm already over budget. Next up, Black, White, and Bloodshot is coming from Valiant Comics and Alien Books. I did get to read a preview of this. It's, one of those black, white, and red anthologies that publishers love so much these days. I liked the art in it. I liked the sort of art style of the first 2 stories in the anthology. Mark Guggenheim writes the second story in the anthology. I think this book is probably best suited for you if you're already a Bloodshot fan. If not, go read 2012 Valiant Bloodshot and then maybe see if it's something that you want to pick up. But cool either way. Cover price on that is $4.99. Next up, I think this is coming from Image. This is The Manchurian, number 1. It's part of an experiment called the Horizon Experiment. Pornsak Pichetsot, how do you say this man's name? But anyway, he issued a challenge to a bunch of his creator friends, basically to come up with a pitch for whatever sort of comic. But the whole draw of it is it has to feature some sort of minority character, and their minority, the story has to be done in a way where the race, ethnicity, nationality of the character, if you changed it, it would break the story. And so this first one, he's up first to bat. It's him, Pornsak Pichetsot. I'm gonna say it right, with the Dodsons. And so I love the Dodsons art. It's basically like a Chinese James Bond operating in America, which sounds interesting. Cover price on it is $3.99. Next up is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers crossing up over with Usagi Yojimbo. This is a one-shot for the 40th anniversary of Usagi. This is also a $7.99 comic. Comics are expensive. They're dope, but they're expensive. Next up is actually not a new number one. I just threw this in here because you should know that Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells is coming to an end, and the first issue and the final story arc is out this week, ASM issue 58. This is like the big finale between Tombstone and Peter Parker before I think Joe Kelly is taking over the title for a few issues. So that's that. If you wanted to see the final battle, just know it starts there. And the final book on the radar this week that I think you might want to look out for is another one of those big tabloid-sized reprints. This is colloquially, it's known as Superman versus Wonder Woman. Apparently, it is the all-new collector's edition number C54. Superman versus Muhammad Ali was C56. But anyway, Superman versus Wonder Woman fighting to get control of like nuclear weapons with Uncle Sam in the background. I don't know. This one doesn't seem as much my jam as Superman versus Muhammad Ali, which was sentimental for different reasons. But something about having those big tabloid issues is just cool. And if it didn't cost $14.99 and I wasn't already over budget, I might pick it up. But hey, maybe you're not over budget and maybe it's something that's on your radar. Let me know in the comments down below. Speaking of comments, we've got a whole community that thrives on Discord as well as on Facebook. So pick your poison, so to speak. Join us. We can talk about comics. You can post your latest hauls. You can ask questions, ask for comic recommendations, or give comic recommendations. It's a great place to be. So check us out, like I said, on Discord and in Facebook groups. Links are in the description down below. It's a long week. It's a stacked week. I had to make my cuts. Let me know, which cuts are you making to your pull list this week in order to stay under budget? I'm curious to see how you're managing in these unprecedented times of ridiculous amounts of books. Anyway, I'll see you guys in another video soon. Until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.